A story now with far-reaching consequences for those who are involved with Sassa. They've suspended over 200,000 temporary disability grants. It's all due to a lack of money, we understand. The suspension resulting in dire backlogs and beneficiaries also having to even reapply for medical assessments. How is that going to work in a year of COVID? Well, the DA is calling for the Portfolio Committee on Social Development to convene an urgent meeting to address the issue. Now, it's always a pleasure. The DA's Member of Parliament and Committee Member, Bridget Masango, joining us now here on the South African Morning. Bridget, good morning to you. First of all, we'll discuss the technicalities around the medical assessments being reapplied for. First of all, if it's due to a lack of funds, what's your understanding? Where's this money gone?
Good morning, Gareth, and good morning to the viewers. Yes, the issue of temporary disability grants are a grant type where applicants who, due to illness or injury, go and apply to Sassa, to the department through Sassa, for a grant for the period of their injury until it heals or the condition that they have. What then happens is that because this is on a temporary basis, the applicant's grant is either granted for a period of 6 months or at most 12 months, after which period the applicant has to apply because the applicant would need to be seen by a doctor to determine whether the extent of the injury still prohibits an applicant to actually continue or to work, or whether to continue with the grant. So that is what is happening. And a brief history to this is that because of the lockdown and the protocols that needed to be followed or adhered to, the minister then issued a ministerial direction to say that those grants that were lapsing, needing reapplication, will be extended so that, for example, the people with disabilities don't have to be out there and be exposed to COVID-19. So that happened since, I believe, May until the end of December. So what then needed to happen now is for the applicants to go back to Sassa and apply again. I wouldn't even say reapply because it's a brand new application. When it has lapsed, when the period of the grant has lapsed, they need to reapply. So that is what we were expecting to happen from May. And so what we were saying as the Democratic Alliance is that there needed to have been plans for that, because of course, you know that every month there will be a grant that will lapse. So you know that the numbers of the people that will apply will increase. So please have a plan on how this is going to be handled by Sassa, and not have the situations that we have seen where people are sitting in long queues and waiting to be seen by Sassa and then also to be seen by doctors.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the issues. I'm sure that Bridget, I'm sure this is going to be one of the issues you're going to be raising when this urgent meeting that is being called has been called and hopefully convened soon to get on top of this. The issue, though, anytime Sassa is involved, it's a sensitive issue when it comes to the funding of Sassa, when it comes to the handling of funds by Sassa. And my understanding is this is one of the biggest issues. These suspensions are happening due to a lack of funds. I imagine the DA is going to ask that question: why is there a lack of funds in this situation?
Yes, we need clarity, because the response of the minister to the question that was asked by my colleague, Honourable Abrams, was to say that it's going to cost the department 1.2 billion rand. Now we need clarity: 1.2 billion rand that was not budgeted for, or 1.2 billion rand over and above what was budgeted for this grant type. What exactly is this money? What money is this that is going to be a cost to the department? Because from our understanding is that there has been a budget for each grant type throughout the time. The fact that people have to reapply does not mean that then during that reapplying there are no grants being paid. So we would like the Minister to come through to the portfolio committee to say, okay, the 1.2 billion rand is money that we did not budget for because this is what has happened. Because as it stands, if one looks at a report that was issued in July of the grant payment dating back, it goes up to the beginning of 2019, where every month there have been temporary disability grants being paid, and they are hovering around this amount that the Minister is talking about of around 200,000.
Bridget, speak to me quickly if you could. Bridget, those are the questions you're going to be putting to the Department of Social Development, and hopefully when they come to this portfolio committee. Very briefly, Bridget, if you can, have you spoken to Social Development about this meeting, and are they have agreed to have a meeting, and when is this going to take place? Final question to you.
I wrote to the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Social Development. That is how we do it. We write to the Portfolio Committee on Social Development, and then we get a response to say whether the meeting will happen or not. And I'm awaiting the response from the chairperson. And
I'm sure we'll be following up with you once that date has been set for this very, very important discussion. Bridget Masango, Portfolio Committee on Social Development from the DA. My thanks to you this morning. The biggest issue to address the suspension of temporary disability grants by Sassa got to do with a lack of funds or reallocation of funds. We'll follow that up when that meeting takes place.